Welcome to New Year's Eve edition of TYT Sports. It is December 31st of it's the last day of 2014, and there's been a lot of things that have happened in the sports world. There is so much that gets condensed into 1 year. There was Super Bowl champions, there was World Series champions, there was a World Cup champion. Amongst Turks, there are always jerks. So here you have it, the Turk and jerk of the 2014 calendar year. We have me and Dan, me as in Jason, Dan as in Dan. Over on the studio mic, we're going to start with Dan for his Turk of the 2014 year.
I feel bad that Ben's not here today because at least we know his jerk would be Dan Snyder, so it's just a question of what his Turk would be.
Right.
But no, my Turk of the year is Richard Sherman. I think everyone's forgotten how dominant that Seattle team was when they won the Super Bowl. And I just like the way that the guy carries himself, you know, in this year where the NFL was really a disaster and the media really went after everybody with a sense of political correctness that we haven't seen in a long time. Whatever you say out there in the public gets, taken down and thrown about and repurposed into quotes that everybody chases after if they don't like what the guy says.
Yeah, it's true.
And when he knocked down that Michael Crabtree pass and won that game and then went straight to Aaron Andrews and had that interview where he was talking trash. I mean, it was arrogant. But at the same time, when was the last time you heard a NFL athlete that raw and that, real? I mean, you could feel the emotion in his voice. And, they're playing on a huge stage. This is a playoff game. And immediately after, some woman comes up and shoves a microphone in your face, and you're supposed to give a interview as if you had just played a chess match. But Sherman doesn't do that. He just goes out there and he says it. And, I love it. I think that's really what football should be. Fast forward 6 months, and Marshawn Lynch was fined $100,000 for not wanting to talk to the media. And Sherman had the balls to come out with Doug Baldwin and do that little video, which, regardless of what you think about it, he made some really good points about the hypocrisy of the NFL. The fact that, they are so against certain alcohol-related crimes, yet are sponsored by, big beer sponsors. He can't use his Beats by Dre headphones because that's not an NFL-sponsored product. And really about the things you can and can't say in this world. And he did it in a way where it was so straightforward and so in people's face. And he really didn't care what people thought about it. And I thought that was pretty refreshing. So not only is the guy a winner, but he also is kind of unique, and I think that makes him a Turk.
Yeah, that's a fantastic Turk, especially as we head into the NFL playoffs. It's still a very scary Seattle team that is peaking. He could be the Turk of the 2015 year, looking all the way, if they were to repeat and all that. But fantastic Turk. Richard Sherman is a special player. Muhammad Ali used to say it. It's not bragging, or it ain't bragging if you can do it. And he did. And now, this entire NFL season, they always at halftime spotlight Richard Sherman and which receivers were able to beat him or not beat him. And I can't tell how many times they'll pause the tape and they'll be like, and look, he had Richard Sherman beat here. And I've seen it more with him over any other defensive back, really over any other defensive player, that it's a huge reward for a receiver to beat him down the field or anywhere. He's just he's intelligent, he's obviously great in front of the camera. And I mean, look, like you said, with Marshawn Lynch, you got to talk to the media. Would you rather have someone not talk to the media, or would you rather have someone be a little bit arrogant, but at least emotional and honest when he talks to the media?
And he defended his boys, you know what I mean? He was willing to put himself out there knowing that he might get a fine and a suspension in order to back up something that he didn't believe in that didn't even happen to him.
Yeah, no, he's a special player. He really is. And love him or hate him, you have to respect him and his play on the field. So as for my Turk, it's Mario Gotze for doing one of the most epic things you could ever do. The World Cup happens every 4 years, and you get it's not like you got your country on your back. You have, not the weight of the world, but you have the weight of the country on your shoulders when you're on the field. And but before we even get to that, I need to ask Francis what he thinks about Mario Gotze being my Turk of the year. Francis? Is he surprised? Is he shocked? Anybody? Nobody? I think he's like, oh, okay, yeah, real original. Yeah, well, the thing with Mario Gotze is knocking in, or kicking in, I should say, the game-winning World Cup goal in extra time. That, like, you can go anywhere in Germany, anywhere, and you'll never have to pay for a drink the rest of your life. There's going to be statues erected of this guy. And I think he's young. He's really young. I said after the World Cup that if Mario Gotze kicked in own goals for the rest of his career, like set the record for 1,000 own goals, even for the German national, I still think people would be like, well, no, he got the game-winning goal in the World Cup. He's excused. It's only a few own goals, whatever. Obviously not. People will eventually forget, but if you were to do that, it wouldn't go over well. But Mario Gotze, hats off to you for the Turk of the 2014 year. Damn Francis. And one more time, Francis, what do you think of Gotze? I need to see. It gets closer. Amazing. Amazing. That face is amazing. Moving on to jerk of the 2014 year. Dan, you have the best jerk of the year. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, for me, it's not even a question. As a lifelong Clipper fan who's had season tickets since 1988, I can say that Donald Sterling is my jerk of the year, and it's not even close. You know, as Clipper fans, nobody paid attention because nobody ever went to these games. But we've known for years that he's a horrible guy. I mean, what other kind of guy, you know, first of all, takes, fancy people into the locker room to stare at his players. That's just super creepy. Buys himself newspaper articles talking about how great of a philanthropist he is, and heckles Baron Davis from the center court, front row seat about how fat he is and how he's going to miss free throws. Like, I don't know anybody who does that. So, the fact that this came out and got him kicked out, I mean, you can argue that, it was recorded in private and maybe the tape shouldn't have been made public. But I think the NBA was ecstatic to have an opportunity to get rid of this guy, and so were we. I mean, it's much more fun to go to the games. It's not like, oh, I love the Clippers, but how can you support Donald Sterling? It's now you just love the Clippers. I mean, I wish they were better this year, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
But the jerk of the year for me is Donald Sterling. Bad guy, kind of got what's coming to him, and it's not a good year for racism in the NBA.
Definitely not a good year for racism in a lot of the American sports. But obviously a fantastic choice. He's the clear-cut winner. Ray Rice is up there for a Jerk of the Year nominee. Adrian Peterson is up there for a Jerk of the Year nominee. But these are personal preference here. So for me, it's the entire New York sports market. They're all the jerks, every single one of them, except maybe the Islanders. And yes, I know the Rangers made the Stanley Cup Finals. So again, no discredit to the hockey side of my Jerk of the Year nomination. In terms of winning percentage by the teams, there's never been a worse year than this year, especially from basically once the Stanley Cup ended. That was the last bright spot all the way till now. The Knicks are imploding and are about to be the worst team in the league. My Mets, they have some promise going into next year, but they were not too good this year. The Jets, well, Dan?
Yeah, I don't even know what you can call the Jets. I mean, they've imploded.
Yeah.
And now it's just
it's rebuild time for a lot of teams.
Smith.
So I'm hoping New York sports will make a big rebound. There's a lot of rebuild, but it's not normal for New York sports to be that bad. I'm a New York sports homer. This is obvious. Full disclosure, I love New York sports, specifically the teams I root for, the Knicks, the Mets, the Giants, technically the Islanders. But in general, you're one of the biggest, if not the biggest, sports media market in the country for all Big Four American sports. Do something about it. Don't sit there and be, obviously not content, but don't sit there and just be like, oh, we're just going to write about how it's the darkest time, the blackest time in New York sports media market history. It's just terrible. So hopefully a big bounce back. The only reason I'm not doing Adrian Peterson, Ray Rice, or Roger Goodell, or Dan Snyder, or the entire NFL for Jerk of the Year is check out the 35 clips in the playlist below on the side in your suggested videos, and you'll see us rant and rant and rant about our thoughts about Ray Rice and Adrian Peterson and all those guys.
And as we said, Ben's already picked Dan Snyder, so no one
Ben
can
has
pick
definitely picked Dan Snyder. I'm trying to think of who Francis would have chosen. Maybe Fernando Torres.
How about you might have chosen Suarez?
He might have
Although
chosen. That's a
it's
good one.
arguable, depending on who you are. I mean, you could say Suarez was great because he constantly provides you stories. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, it's not good to bite people, but at the same
No.
time, he certainly makes soccer interesting, and he's a great player.
Yeah.
It depends on which side you fall on, but he might have gone Suarez. I don't think he
might have
liked
gone-
that. I think he thought it was a little bit of an insult to the game.
Yeah, that's true. You don't hurt our beautiful. As Francis would always say, you can't hurt our beautiful game. You can't touch our beautiful game. But we look forward to 2015. Have a happy and very healthy new year. Be safe, everybody, but also have fun. Subscribe to TYT Sports.